America is shit at racism. By Colin Liddell. Since it was founded as an offshore lunatic asylum for religious fanatics that grew into a very large farm, America has constantly failed upwards. Now, it is making the final leap towards hitting the target with its arse by getting racism totally wrong, and, in the process, overcoming its main fracture point exploited by its enemies. This is clear from the latest outbreak of white supremacist spree shooters in Texas and elsewhere, who, like just about everybody else in the racist far right, turn out to be Hispanics, non-whites, or quasi-whites. Nick Mexican Midget Fuentes and Mauricio Garcia, the dude who just shot up the shopping mall in Allen, Texas, are sadly typical. Meanwhile, the online right, most of whom are conveniently hidden behind sock accounts, post stuff like this, as if the mainstream media is getting them wrong. No, the mainstream media is right in this case. It should be clear by now, especially to anyone familiar with the dissident right, that America is simply totally shit at the one thing most people around the world associate it with, namely, racism. This is nothing new, and it is something I have been saying for years. In fact, America is so shit at racism that it should probably just stop trying. The evidence is overwhelming. Back in 2020, there was the case of bass stickman Kyle Chapman, a one-time leader of the Proud Boys, a group that some say the Texas shooter Mauricio Garcia had ties with. Back then, the media reported that Chapman had gone off the deep end, spewing anti-Semitism and racial smears, like any Fed trying to make his quota. As reported by Newsweek, quote, white nationalist Kyle Chapman, who set up the tactical defense arm of the Proud Boys, the Fraternal Order of Alt-Knights, has criticized the group's chairman, Enrique Tarrio, while announcing a so-called rebranding of the organization. Writing on encrypted messaging app, Telegram, Chapman used racial slurs against Tarrio and other neo-Nazi rhetoric while announcing that the grifting leaders had been deposed and the group would be renamed the Proud Goys. The term goy, a Hebrew word for a non-Jewish person, is sometimes used by white supremacists to signal their anti-Semitic beliefs, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. End of quote. In the Telegram message, Chapman wrote, quote, we will no longer cuck to the left by appointing token Negroes as our leaders. We will no longer allow homosexuals or other undesirables into our ranks. We will confront the Zionist criminals who wish to destroy our civilization. We recognize that the West was built by the white race alone and we owe nothing to any other race. End of quote. Okay, so far so good. Whether you agree with it or not, this looks like pretty solid, relatively normal, race hatred. Disparaging non-whites? Check. Recycling crappy terminology from The Daily Show podcast? Check. Making anti-gay statements while secretly being thrilled you're a gay icon? Check. And, of course, frothing at the mouth about Jews? Double check. But then, we got this. Yes, super, uber, neo-Nazi race hater, Kyle Chapman and family. The dissident rights Aryan superhero was, it turns out, a guy who has a cute waifu, and had actually race mixed by sprogging out a future Elliot Rodger. Whether you're cool with that or not, is not the point. The point is that this is not what a solid, old-school racist is supposed to be like. The guy is doing it all wrong. But not only does he have yellow fever, it looks like he is at least partly Jewish. Indeed, it's not even anything he tries to hide. Check out his battle helmet. But really, why be surprised? Because American racists and anti-Semites have an abysmal track record at actually being racist and anti-Semitic. A few even older historical examples. Check out this guy. Nice swastikas, solid white supremacist banners, and even a snazzy Nazi uniform. But this guy, Frank Cohen fucks up the whole neo-Nazi Jew-hating thing by being, yes, you guessed it, a Jew himself. Even worse, lots of dumbass American racists thought this guy was their Aryan Führer, lol. That's how crap these low-IQ Americans are at racism and anti-Semitism. A bit like this guy here, yet another classic case of just how shit Americans are at racism. Yes, Mike Enoch from TRS. Totally, 100% Jewish. Even his Nazi sock name Enoch is an anagram of Cohen.
But in terms of who's going to be part of this movement, I would say, yeah, like, you know, it's got to be white people, and really Jews should be excluded. And if you're going to let in a mixed Jewish person, they really have to have done something to earn that. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that in my case, I did.
And here is big, bad Aryan neo-Nazi Weave Orenheimer of the Daily Stormer. Except, he too is a Jew. And also a midget, about the size of a large cat. God almighty, can it get any worse? Yes it can. This is Andrew Anglin, the wit behind the hardcore racist Daily Stormer site. Yes, I'm not sure which one he is either. Then, there are other leading American racists and anti-Semites like Sven, Jesse Dunstan, and Alex McNabb from The Right Stuff, and, of course, Stryker. How about those guys? Here is swarthy, almost Arab-like, Sven and his Chinese wife. Really, if some dude comes at you with a Nordic-sounding sock name, you can be sure he is 100% fake. As for McNabb, he's about the blackest white man I can claim to have laid eyes on. Then there's Stryker. He's about the size of a pony's breakfast. Yes, small enough to be of sexual interest to Joe Biden. Not to mention that he is of course an Hispanic. What else would he be if he wasn't Jewish or black? Really, to paraphrase Donald Trump, American racism and anti-Semitism hasn't been sending us their best. We were promised these guys. But instead we ended up with this mess. Really, Americans, it looks like we'll have to shut down this whole racism thing until we find out just what the hell is going on.